Welcome back to Command West, a Commanders podcast where we tackle the latest Washington football team news and answer the hard-hitting questions like, are all losses created equal?
Yeah, but is a Commanders loss easier to take when the Cowboys lose too?
Well, how about just how upset should we be by a 34-point ass kicking?
Hey, well, at least it's not 70-20 like in Miami.
Ooh.
We'll cover
Ouch.
that all and more tonight on Command West. Over to you, Donnie. Or should I say Dad?
I'm Donnie.
I'm Bradley.
I'm Tico Wells.
I'm Eddie P.
Why don't we start by looking at some of the highlights from Sunday's game? Okay, thanks for joining us on Command West. Don't forget to hit that like button. We'll see you next week. Not
Seriously.
too many highlights to talk about, are there, guys?
Rough weekend, man. It was a rough
Ooh,
weekend.
Oh
that
my
was hard
God.
to take. That was hard to
Sometimes it
watch.
kind of feels good though to lose a game and just have your week ruiner, And
What?
Like
What?
Purge or something?
Yeah.
I don't know.
we were on this high. It almost feels good
Yeah.
to be like, oh,
I
Come on.
dubbed Sunday the humbling of Sam Howell, because I think everybody was on the Sam Howell bandwagon, and you know what, young QB, they're gonna have days like that, and maybe it's good to get that out of the system early in the season and learn.
and against a
grow.
team that really we should have lost to. If we performed that way against the Giants, that would be a lot more embarrassing.
Look, none of us picked the Washington to win this game. Well, I take that back, and I'll bring this. I'll bring it up now. So, we all did our picks in week one when we did our very first broadcast, and then you guys sent me your list. So last week I went back and I watched week one, and it didn't all match up perfectly. So I think Eddie and Tico specifically, you guys didn't watch what your picks were. You picked all over again. And I think you picked after we watched week one, which skews it a little bit. So here's my question. I think we should go with what we said in week one's episode, because that's what our audience saw.
Yeah, because I don't remember if it was the same exact identical picks as the week before. So
It was not.
no one else had a chance to change them.
No.
Did you go through and you said
I did.
okay, you
Oh,
did.
so
I did.
how off was it?
Well, let me see. Let me tell you this. You guys, because it was Tico and Eddie. I went back and looked at mine. I figured
I
Bradley must have too.
Nope.
Oh, you had
Were
it
mine
right.
the same though?
They were the same. So
Well, I guess I'm just
maybe I'll double check yours, but
you should double check mine.
But here's how I knew, because I remember everybody having pretty optimistic seasons. Bradley and I being the most optimistic. I think we have 12-5 seasons mapped out.
Comical.
And Eddie, like when you did your final picks, you were like 9-8 or something, and I think you had it more like
I thought it was 8 and 9, and
or
then
8 and 9.
and you corrected me and said it's 9 and 8.
Yeah,
And I said,
well,
maybe I was being a little.
It was 10-7 in the original week, and Tico was 13-4 in the original week,
Woo!
and
Wow.
then scaled it way back. I think
Yeah.
probably after we saw week one, and they almost blew it to the
Well,
Cardinals.
it's also like when you see it on paper, it's easier to be like,
I know.
oh yeah, that's all. You can't look down the list and see all those W's and then be like, wait, we have been terrible for 30 years.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Right, exactly. I think the four of us got a little swept up in the podcast
And
itself.
the preseason hype
Exactly.
too.
Preseason hype.
Preseason
Yeah.
hype was
Exactly.
good, man.
Yeah.
But when you make those predictions at the beginning of the year, a lot of times it's predicated on last year.
Almost
And for some reason,
almost,
people
yeah.
think last year is this year,
Mhm.
and this year is this year.
Mm-hmm.
And not
You know
just
what I'm
for
saying?
our team, but for all the teams.
For
Yeah.
everybody, man. Somebody gets hurt. I mean, look at Miami. Miami was
Yeah.
crazy.
I
Man.
think I picked us
That
to
was
beat Miami when we
crazy.
play them.
Man.
Beating Miami?
man.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
No, actually, you picked it as a loss.
Okay,
And so
good.
Eddie and Tico picked it as a win,
Well, okay,
ironically.
so like the Jets, me and Tico were very confident that we could beat the Jets.
Yeah.
but I don't think
know.
the other two
We
did.
we all picked a win on the Jets.
Oh, did we? Okay.
Yeah, we
well,
Wow.
well, that
Was
looks
that
better.
before or after Aaron Rodgers got hurt?
Well, we all figured Aaron Rodgers was going to be the quarterback all season long, So
Let's just understand something. Our team is a work in progress.
that's a good point. And I think that's a good way to look at last
And
week's game.
especially, the offensive line. Let's face it.
Dive in.
Nine
know who
sacks. Nine sacks. The O-line
Oh,
has
yes.
the responsibility to protect Sam, and they didn't. So I know they were going up against a serious defensive front with Buffalo. We're expected to lose. I don't like the idea that we gagged on every opportunity that we had to get scores on the board that were bigger than 3-point attempts. And we even never got those either.
Yeah.
Got one until the end. We'll give you one so you don't look
It
like
was one of the saddest field goals I've ever seen.
It was such a trash field goal at
Yeah.
the end. Yeah.
Well, what did y'all think about when we got in the red zone the first time and
Mhm.
we went for it on 4th down and we came away with a zip?
I'm okay with that decision.
I actually really liked the decision.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
hated the play call. I
Yeah,
hated the
right.
play calling that entire the 4 downs that we went. I hated every play. I thought we should have ran it 3 times. I mean, the first play, which we were on like the 7, and Cole Turner makes a great grab.
Yeah.
And, like, stretches out
Yeah.
and nearly breaks the goal line. I literally said it out loud. I said, we're gonna run this ball 3 times.
Yeah, I said the same thing. I was
we did.
watching it online coming back from my trip, and I was getting sick to my stomach, not only because I was sitting in the back and car sick, but I just couldn't understand the idea of not taking they ran it one time, I think, with a shotgun formation.
They do. They're lined up in the
And-
gun. Yeah.
And I don't think that makes any sense because
I think that was 4th down. They did it in the gun, didn't they?
it's so predictable. If he goes for a handoff, it's predictable as fuck. And Robinson, even if it's Robinson, he doesn't get a chance to accelerate. He's
That's
just
right.
taking the ball. When he hits the hole, if he was up under center, Sam Howell, he's got a chance to snap that ball to him when he's taking the hole full speed.
Yeah. He's gets some
I don't
speed
like
out. Yeah.
that call. I'm
No.
sorry, that's
Terrible call.
the enemy's
Hey.
call, and I don't
Yep.
like it.
Yep.
And Bieniemy didn't call a great game.
He did not.
And I do like the gun formation delayed handoff. Not on the 1.
No, not on the
Like
one.
on the
Right,
40.
exactly.
Like
Yeah.
it's cool because our O line, one of their strengths is kind of getting out and hitting those blocks for those runs. So giving them some time to develop the holes and Brian Robinson some time to see the holes
Mhm,
on
mhm.
the
He's good at that.
40. I think we ran that play 3 times. He ran the ball 10 times this game.
Yeah. And
Had
got 70 yards. Yeah.
Why wasn't he running the ball more? And why aren't we?
That's one of my notes.
The gun run from the 1 is so weird, like you said, Eddie, and the delayed gun run is so weird because there's just more guys up close. You
Did you-
smash mouth that ball into the end zone on the Brian Robinson's one of the best backs in the league at just smashing in, and he did it. He did it last game with the 2-point conversion. He did it last year against the Eagles. He's one of the best. It makes no sense to me.
Have you seen the Eagles' success rate with this sneak that they do when everyone's just all bunched up and they push the quarterback from behind? They're like successful 29 out of 30 times running that
Yeah,
play. I
yeah.
don't know why the whole league isn't doing that
It's
until
disgusting.
people say they might make it illegal at some point. But while it's legal,
Ban
short
them,
yardage,
ban it.
you
I
can't
hate that
stop it.
formation.
Yeah, but I don't
I
understand.
don't like it either, but it's legal right now, so we might as well take advantage of it.
Right.
Like, I don't understand the play calling from the standpoint of passing. Okay, so we have a guy who's getting 7 yards a carry.
Yeah.
And we don't think that makes sense to kind of force their hand so that they go, oh, we got to play for the run. We didn't do any play action. We didn't have any opportunity because they were blitzing constantly on us because they knew we weren't going to run.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to understand, like, how did we not establish a running game? And why did we always go to an aerial attack when we got a guy who obviously, let's face it, it's his 4th game, right?
Yep.
He's going to be panicked to make a progression decision, and he feels like he needs to look for the 2nd and 3rd, but when he really should have taken the 1st or the 2nd because they were open.
Yeah.
And now they're not open.
Yeah.
Well, and we have an O-line that can't protect them. So why you keep going back to the pass,
But I think that's being called in, isn't it? I mean, that's being called in, those plays.
Oh, yeah.
100%. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
EB.
Not
EB's
making
You're
calling all this.
100% right, Eddie. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's interesting to me that we're not leaning heavier on the run, especially in a rainy game. You
Yeah.
know, when we have a back that, you know, was kind of unstoppable, especially in this game and the end of last game. And it's weird to me that we're making Sam Howell, you know, throw a bunch when we know he's fully capable, but like, why not help him out with the run game? The run game, you know, I heard a stat like, or it's a well-known idea that pass plays statistically get more yards, right? That's obvious.
Right.
But the run game helps the pass game. That's the
Mhm.
point of it. And when you can get chunk plays in the run game, like we were doing with Brian Robinson, then that's even easier. And there's tape out on Sam Howell now. He's played 2 games. And
Mhm.
Buffalo, I bet you not, and the Eagles will do it this week, are watching what Sam Howell's doing. They're seeing that he's taking his time getting the ball out, and they're seeing that they're holding on to the ball too long. And they're blitzing. They're coming after him because he doesn't get rid of the ball. And frankly, the
But do you think that he'll be okay? So if that's the case, say we start to establish a running game against Philly, which is going to be a challenge because they have a great
Yeah, it is.
defensive line.
Yep.
I think they're probably first or second already this year for holding the run. And I could be wrong, but these guys are looking at us and going, okay, if they're not going to run it down our throat and commit to a run game, then we're just going to sack the shit out of them all day. And he's going to be forced to throw. I want him to throw a little quick dunk, but I don't know if he's tall enough. I know I said it a million times.
Well, check
He
this
got
out.
picked
Check
doing
this out.
Go ahead, Tico.
Listen to this. Washington's first possession, interception.
Mhm. We had a good drive going till then.
Then we turned it over. They punted. Then we punted. Then they scored a touchdown. Well, first, but when we threw that interception, it was Buffalo 3-0.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
They
On their
didn't
first
kill us.
possession. No.
Our defense held them to 16 points in the first half.
It was 16
Okay.
points in the fourth quarter. And
It
we
was
had the ball.
16 points in the fourth quarter, but then we fumbled, we intercepted, we punted, we fumbled, we interception for a touchdown.
Turnovers
We
killed us.
punted.
Antonio, come on,
You
guys.
know, we didn't kick a field goal
Fumbled
until
again. Gibson fumbled
close
again.
to the 2-minute warning. I mean, it was
It's
37-0
over.
before we scored.
trash.
Okay, so it's not that Dion says this, and I look at this team as almost like Colorado. We had some flashes. We beat our first couple of games, and then we ran into a brick wall.
Yeah, we did.
Buffalo has been in the championship game.
Yeah.
When's the last time Washington was in a championship game?
Yeah.
Does anybody even remember?
No.
So we got a little hyped up.
80s.
We're not a good team yet.
It seems like we were just in desperation pass mode, like as if there was some kind of urgency to score quickly and dominate with an aerial attack. Is that Bieniemy's thing? Aerial attack? He loves aerial.
Well,
yeah,
it's interesting because Bieniemy made a comment in one of the pressers where he said, "You have to be patient with Buffalo. If you go for the big play, they're going to eat you up." And yet it felt like that's what they were going for.
I felt like we chucked the ball up and went, "Here, try to catch this one, you guys."
Yeah.
We had 4 interceptions. It's not like it's not like the passing game was working all that great either. He had 170 yards total and 4 interceptions, no touchdowns. It's not like anything was working. So
run game was working though.
Run game.
When?
Yeah, we didn't use it enough. Ryan Robinson had 10 rushes for 70 yards. That's 7 a pop.
But so that's like, what? 2.5 per quarter.
I know, but that's what I'm
Right,
saying is
that's the
we
point.
weren't running
why are
it
you
enough.
saying it? Why are you saying it was working?
Because it was.
When they did it, it was working. They weren't doing it enough.
They weren't doing it enough. I'm blaming the play calling. A lot of this game was on play calling.
I agree.
I think that the routes took too long to develop because Sam Howell was sitting. I mean, look, my biggest problem with Sam Howell is he doesn't get through his progressions fast enough and he holds the ball too long. He doesn't know when to scramble, although he had a great scramble this game.
He did have one.
Although he needs a freaking slide, man. He's going to get hurt, and I'm going to be
He
so
got
upset.
sandwiched on that.
He needs to learn how to slide. But
I think he was watching RG3.
Don't watch RG3.
Do not.
But there comes a certain point where the O-line doesn't look good. This was my problem with Scott Turner last year. The O-line isn't good. He's holding on to the ball too long. Let's get some progressions that are quicker. Let's help this man out. And something else that helps out the pass game and Sam Howell is the running game, which was working. The fact that we only ran it 10 times. Sorry, I don't know how many times we ran it total. I know we ran it 10 times with Brian Robinson.
Wasn't that much. I mean,
it's crazy.
They're not really using Antonio that much at all.
Well, they don't
Antonio
trust
Gibson,
him.
not in the running game. He only had 2 runs.
I'm done with Antonio Gibson.
They don't trust him.
I don't trust him.
All right. So if they're going to get rid of their second big back, who's our third big back?
Chris Rodriguez is our third back.
Give him a shot.
I don't know anything about him, but let him back up Brian Robinson.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did, Eddie, next week.
Yeah, you know what? There's a hunger that I don't think Antonio has anymore. And I might even say this.
And Brian,
man, I think it's so early in the season, and we're already we fell off the bus already after one loss.
No, I don't think so.
We're killing them, man. We're
looking for solutions here. We're looking for solutions. I'm not off the bus.
I am fully on the bus.
Why can't we critique our own? We have to be the ones to critique our own.
Listen, you got one of the number one pass defenses, the number one defensive lines. It's not like we were playing a bunch of guys that are just saying, "Oh, they want to run it, so let's just let them run it."
No, but they threw 38. Yeah. They got 38 points on us. How great was our defense? Not that
37. Great. Yeah. Well, they would. The defense. This is what defenses need a breather too, because they're doing the line is doing so much banging.
We were out there the whole game.
They get an interception, or they get a fumble. They run off to the side. They're high-fiving. They're excited. They're showing off like you guys hate, and then they sit down. And it's a pick, and they got to get back up.
Yeah.
So that's why people say you got to win games on all 3 phases because you can't just have the defense out there all game, even if they play a great game, which I thought they did well in the first. They did okay in the first half, even though
they did okay.
Somebody tell me where Josh Allen
held them to 16
Where was Josh Allen? His friggin' uniform was spotless. It was clean.
Yeah.
On a wet game.
This is one of this is.
You mean where was Jonathan Allen?
Oh, Jonathan Allen. I'm sorry.
Well, this was one of the things that I was most frustrated with this game, and it's funny, Tico, because I went back. I after the game, I was like, the defense sucks. Fuck the defense. They're terrible. And I was all mad about it. And I took a minute. One game, we're 2-1.
Right.
Sam Howell's first loss of his career.
First loss.
Breathe. We're okay.
Breathe.
This is
Antonio
fine.
Gibson
I'm in the Halaban.
8.5.
I agree.
You should be more worried. Dallas for losing one game this year, or should Philly be nervous about? No, they didn't lose anything.
I think that we are a work in progress, which is exciting.
It is.
This isn't even a setback. This is a learning.
No,
moment.
You learn from every loss. Right?
But here's what I'll say. Here's what I've been frustrated with for the last 4 years. Is there's been some major coaching problems that I've been frustrated with. One of the podcasts that I listen to the most, Louis T, check him out. He's great. He says that winning is the best deodorant because winning masks a lot of the problems. So when we win, a lot of the problems we go, oh, but we won.
Yeah.
Here's one of the problems that I have seen.
That matters.
Yeah.
Winning. Here's one of the problems that I've seen over the last 4 years that has been so frustrating. We are terrible against mobile quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
And it blows my mind because we have a great D line, right? And we also picked a linebacker in the first round 2 years ago who's a 4.4 guy. He runs a 4.4 40. This is a fast dude. I'm talking about Jamin Davis out of Kentucky. This man is fast, and he doesn't play enough. The fact that we're not having him sit on the field and say, you have the quarterback. When he gets out of the pocket, when he runs, go get him. You're fast enough. You hit big enough. And he had a good game. But I think it's a coaching problem, because what happens when, and I was watching some highlights. What happens when is Chase Young is getting pressure in the beginning of the game. And then Josh Allen goes, whoop, gets 2 long third downs, a 3rd and 12 and a 3rd and 8. And it's Chase Young's fault because he didn't hold his rush lanes. And then the rest of the game, Chase Young is rushing in his rush lanes, and Josh Allen has, I wouldn't say all day, because our D-line is good enough to get pressure no matter what. But he had way more time because all of our guys were like so scared of him leaving the pocket. So they're rushing like this instead of rushing like this and this and this and this, which is what they're really good at. So why not let our D-line do what they're best at? They're all first round picks. Why don't we let them do what they're best at and then put a dude on the field that will help them do what they're best at? It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
And it's been happening for 4 fucking years. And and Del Rio is like, he has great games. He has terrible games. This was one of his bad games.
Do you
But
think
the
that his
defense
focus?
still did good.
I
We didn't
feel
have any
that's my
sacks.
rant.
We had no sacks.
No sacks.
So I'm going to eat crow on this one, because my commandment last week was keep Josh Allen contained. And I said, stay in their lanes. Just don't let him get loose. And you could see it, just like Bradley's describing, like the defensive line, they weren't playing after those first few rushes. When he got big yards, they stopped playing their game and they started staying in their lanes. And he was back there all day long. Like, eventually you're going to find somebody that you're going to throw to Gabe Davis or Stephon Diggs. You're going to find somebody because you got all day. So, and I'm thinking to myself, what's the answer? Because if you stay in your lanes, then he's got all day. And if you get out of your lanes, then he's going to scramble and beat you. Yeah. And I think you nailed it, Bradley. QB spy. Plenty of teams use a QB spy.
And you don't have to use it all game.
Okay, let's find some positives, if there are any. I got a couple.
Let's hear. I'm ready.
We had that moment at the beginning. There are.
Hang on a second, guys.
All right, go Tico.
And I had to look this up. So Bradley said the rushing game was working.
Yeah.
We got 105 yards rushing.
On how many attempts?
13.
That's over. That's
8. That's 8.1 yards per carry.
Yeah.
That's
the problem is between penalties and getting pushed back and getting terrible field position and sacks. You know, those 4 sacks equal 45 yards. That's almost a half a football field.
Okay.
A nice slice of ass whooping is what that was.
So let me say something about the sacks, because I think Eddie or somebody talked about the blitzing. Also, we talked about the run game was working. Why didn't we use it more? Last week we found our screen game, and I felt like I didn't see any screens in this game.
The Antonio Gibson fumble was a screen.
You're right. That was the only screen thrown to Antonio Gibson, and he fumbles at the end of it.
And they went into no more screens, guys.
Yeah, but it's like
the game was over at that point.
The game, yeah. Well, that's to me. That's when the wheels. He fumbled. Josh Allen runs it in for a touchdown. All the wheels fell off after that. But like I felt like that's a way to slow down that rush and that blitz is throw a screen over their head a couple of times.
Bieniemy had a rough game, and he did. He's learning with a new quarterback. He's learning. I just think this is let's work out the kinks. Let's get all our mistakes out against a really good team, and let's see what we're bad at, and then let's fix it. And I hope that they fix it, and we'll see this weekend. But I want to hear the rest of Tico's positives.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay, so we gave up 168 rushing yards.
Okay,
because they had James Cook was a 98 yards, 15 carries, only 6.5 yards per carry. But here's the thing, Josh Allen only ran 3 times
Yeah, it was
That's
it felt
crazy.
like more than that. It was 3
for
runs.
Felt like he was running
46
all over the place.
yards.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
but he also
15.3 a carry.
yeah. He also
Those are first downs.
Yeah.
That's the open field
And they-
scramble
yeah.
that he's going to beat us on all day because we
But-
were in the middle.
he
Oh,
And a
also
touchdown.
it made me felt like he ran more because he was it was easy for him to get out of the pocket. I mean,
Yeah.
on that first third down, the first drive, it was like 3rd and 12 or something.
12
It
or
was like,
something, yeah.
oh my God, our defense looks so good. He skirts out, dime to Stephon Diggs. It was a beautiful play. Like our defense, we were right on him. Emmanuel Forbes played good defense on Stephon Diggs. Like you can't kill him for that. That was a big time elite quarterback making a big time elite play. But we let him scramble. Like I said, maybe you put Jamin Davis on the field. He's running full steam at him when he gets out of the pocket, and maybe he makes him a worse throw in that situation. But it was a beautiful throw. It was pretty good defense, and the receiver made a good play. You really can't fault our defense for that too much.
And here's a weird stat.
Before you go on to the next stat,
Go
those
ahead.
rushing stats that you were pointing out, that last drive where they got like the wheels had fallen off and all the wind went out of our defense and they got clobbered, and a lot of that, and they ran and they ran all over. Up until that point, we kind of controlled the running game a little bit, except for a few Josh Allen runs, but we controlled their running backs, and then the wheels fell off, and a lot of those yards are in that final drive.
Well,
There's a lot
there
of
was a little
garbage
bit of
time, so-
parity. There was a little bit of parity in the passing game. They threw 20 times. We threw 19. The difference was Stephon Diggs, 111 yards.
Yeah, Bob.
13.9 yard per catch.
Stephon Diggs from University of Maryland. Just want to point that
Did
out.
he go to Maryland? I didn't know that.
That's
He's
cool.
a Terrapin.
These two, actually, Tico and my dad are Maryland Terrapins. Just for everybody to know.
Not really.
Tico didn't attend. No,
Oh, I didn't know you didn't go to Maryland.
No,
We
I
went to high school together. We didn't go to college
Right,
together.
okay.
We went to high school together.
But the other thing that I wanted to say was my commandment was don't let Josh Allen beat us with big plays.
Right.
And
he beat us with big plays.
35-yard touchdown, I would call big play. Stephon Diggs had a couple big catches, big plays.
He had a 30-yarder.
Stephon
had a 30-yarder.
Will fail on my commandment, and we already talked about my dad's commandment, which we failed on as well. So those are two that we failed on. But again, Tico's going through the positive, so I want to hear him.
Yeah, the positive is that they got 218 yards passing, right? We got 170 yards. That's not terrible. We threw 19 times. It seemed like we threw a lot more. They threw 20 times. They just got a lot more yards. The split comes that they ran the ball 33 times.
Dang.
So we actually had balance. We ran 13 and we passed 19. It wasn't as big of a gap as we thought it was. It's just that we didn't hold on to the ball.
We didn't have the ball that long.
We
Yeah.
didn't have the ball that much. So it's not just coaching. It's not just the quarterback play. It's all of that. And the coaches can't execute for the guys. And when you come up against a good team like Buffalo, sometimes they're just better. They're just better.
Well, they are better. Let's face it. And
let's face it, their lines are better.
Yep.
They got to the quarterback 9 times. We got 0 sacks. They got 9 for 45 yards. That's another half a field that they got in driving us backwards.
That's right. Yeah.
I don't have the penalty stats right in front of me.
There weren't many penalties. That's actually a highlight.
Yeah.
I saw it was like we had like two penalties or something.
So take that as a plus. Tico, do you have more, because you're going to go through every stat and every comment that I would want to make?
Well, let's talk about the kicking game. Robbie Sly, he only had 1 attempt and he made it.
Garbage time.
With 2 minutes left in the game.
They had 3, so that's 9 points to our 1 point in the kicking game. We lost the kicking game. Except our boy Tress Way, 150 yards.
Yeah, but they killed us on special teams too, because like
Yeah,
for
they
the
did.
second week in a row, they had a big punt return,
Mhm.
and that it's just
It's unacceptable.
so frustrating.
Yeah, 23 yarder. He had
You
a
know what's
23 yarder.
frustrating? I'll tell you what's frustrating. Can I go?
Yeah,
Yep. Mhm.
Okay. What's frustrating is 0 and 2 in the red zone.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Came in around with
Well-
empty scoring drives. Like, what are we doing down there? Why do we make
Turning the ball over.
decisions to not just take points when we can? I get the swashbuckling aggressiveness of that, and that's something that you do when you're a seasoned, talented, well-oiled machine. We're not there yet. This is game 3.
Yeah, but it was early in the game. Again, I stand by that call on fourth down to go
Yeah.
for the
No, but
touchdown.
what to Eddie's point is, and I want to let you finish, Eddie, but like the decision to try to get all 3rd and 18 back,
Mhm.
and taking
One.
2 sacks to get us out of, to make it a harder field goal on that first, like that's just bad decision making,
Yeah, it
right?
is.
Like it's not the decision to go for it on fourth down on the one that killed us. It's execution, and
Right.
it's not the decision making to to not run the ball. It's you held the ball and took 1 9-yard sack and then threw an interception in the red zone.
Yeah,
Like,
compounding the errors. Like,
yeah.
So that
Yeah.
brings me to the thou shalt not let a 2-0 start get to your
Into your
head.
head.
That was mine.
That was Eddie's. Yeah.
And don't make stupid mistakes, which is basically the same thing. And we made
Yeah.
countless mistakes throughout the entire game.
We certainly did.
And when you go bad, you go really bad. That's one thing about Washington
Yeah,
that
that's
I've
true.
known.
Yeah.
I was hoping that would be gone. And
Well,
it will be. It could be. It will
the
change.
first 2 games we had really bad starts.
Yeah, we did.
So,
And we came back,
today
yeah.
it was, or 2 days ago it was really bad, and it just kept getting worse.
You know what I think
The
it is
wheels
too,
fell off.
though? Yeah. And here's the biggest point that I think too is like when you have a bunch of kids, okay, relative, we have a young team, right?
Mhm.
And that's a good thing because they're
Yeah.
moldable clay.
Yeah.
You know that you can get these guys to do what you want to do. You got a good bunch of coaches, but these other coaches out there that are great, we know who all they are, and quarterbacks like Mahomes and Andy Reid, right? These guys, they know how to play chess, and we're playing checkers. We're playing the easy game. I go in there and attack. Or I just throw the ball out. Like we have not gotten to a point where we understand that. We're playing with all pawns, and they've got a queen, they've got a rook, they got they got all the pieces, and we're over there just like running into a battle, grunt work on the front line. I just felt like why couldn't we win in the trenches? If we're those guys that are on the front line, we didn't win anything in the trenches at all.
Well, here's where we're going to find out what this team is made of, because we talked in the first 2 weeks about resilience. Because you're right, we started behind on both those games, and they never gave up, and they came back. That didn't happen last week. We got our asses kicked. How will they respond to that in next week's game? Right? Like now you're going to see is the resilience in from one game to the next, because they weren't able to come back, and it just got worse and worse and worse. So can you shrug that off, or maybe not? Just like not even just shrug it off, like what all you guys are saying. Learn from it. What can we learn from it to move forward?
And I want to have one little crybaby moment where I complain about my team and feel bad about myself.
Okay.
And I want to say this is we can't. How can we? Why don't we have nice things? And I want to talk. Like we see Miami put 70 on Denver this week, and I'm like, we played them last week, and what it came down to a 2-point conversion.
Yeah.
Why can't we have nice things, right? I see players throw a 5-yard slant and then run for 70 yards for a touchdown.
Yeah.
Why don't we do that? I see that in this game, we are on the 30-yard line and we throw an interception. We are on the 40-yard line. We throw an interception for a touchdown. We are driving and we fumble. There was another really bad pick. Josh Allen throws in 3rd down and 10 pick. So where we start we get the ball on the our own 18-yard line. Why don't we have nice things? Why don't we get that? Are you kidding? That's better than a punt. Because a punt could maybe go in the end zone. Yeah, like we get one interception this game, and who cares?
Right.
Thing. Then I see 2 punt returns this week. 2. There might have been 3, but I'm pretty sure there's 2, and there was 1 last week. People are returning punts for touchdowns. What do we have, like a net of like 20 total yards on punt returns? Like
But that's an improvement.
that is an improvement, but
That's an improvement for the last
we've had
10 years. That's the best run, one of the best runs. Except DeAndre, what's the guy's name? DeAndre Carter.
DeAndre Carter. Like, why did we get rid of him?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
But it's like, again, I just want to feel bad for myself for 1 second and be like, why is this team not achieving and getting the things that look so easy on other teams? I mean, the Dolphins, like, what the hell happened?
Okay.
I mean, Tyreek Hill can just get open and Tua can just get it to him every play. We just don't have
so that did not happen in one season. This is Tyreek's second season with him.
I know.
And Tua did not look great in his first season.
I know.
Jalen Hurts did not look great in his first season.
First 2 seasons.
Justin Fields is not looking great in his first couple of seasons. Let's go down to Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Did not look great in his first 4 or 5 seasons, right?
What's that dude's name?
Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence. Yeah,
Trevor
got him on
Lawrence.
my fantasy team, and he's doing
Okay.
diddly for me.
Here's something that make you feel a little better. There's only 3 undefeated teams. That's Miami.
Philly.
That's Philly. San Francisco. We're right up in there at this point of the season.
Yeah.
Another win puts us right back on track. This is going to be another. We don't have any gimme games.
No, we don't.
Because I don't even know what game we could even call, like
the Bears, maybe. I know.
Okay, Bears. Possibly
there is no
Falcons,
gimme games.
Possibly
Forget that.
The Giants.
Yeah.
So
there's no gimme games. There's no gimme.
It's no gimme games. But let's say these next 3 games are probably going to be a little soft spot. But they're booking with the Eagles. Eagles, Bears, Falcons, Giants, Eagles. So if we can do great against the Eagles, okay, we're playing in Philly first, 10 o'clock, October 1st, 10 o'clock West Coast time, 1 o'clock East Coast time.
Right.
Then we got the Bears, the Falcons, and the Giants. The Giants is never going to be a pushover, ever.
Never.
Nobody in our division is ever going to be a pushover. Let's just get over that.
Yeah.
So then we got the Patriots, which is kind of like us up against Belichick.
It's always against Belichick. It doesn't matter who the players are.
But they're not that good.
I don't know.
They're not that good. This is not Tom Brady.
They're not going to go 0-5.
We have a better record.
A little better.
We got a better record than the Patriots. They're 1-2. We're 2-1. We're still at the top of the food chain, so that's a bright spot. Same with Colorado. Colorado got thrashed by Oregon.
You know, Tico, I needed a moment to rant and yell a little bit, and then I needed to hear your soothing voice calm me down, tell me everything was going to be okay. I needed that. I needed that.
What I was hearing from you, Bradley, is you're expressing the frustration of the last 15, 20 years all building up, you know, into exploding
into this game
from that 37-3 game, you know.
Yeah. But ultimately I'm not off the wagon. I'm not out of the bus. I feel really good about this team. I feel like there's a lot of excitement still. I feel like we're building something. I feel like everybody on this team is young and learning. I mean, Chase Young, like he's 3 years in.
And he missed most of last year and the year before?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, he's still learning. There's a lot of players that are still developing into guys that Jahan Dotson. We haven't heard much from him in the first 2 games, but he's a second-year player.
Yeah,
You
we need
know,
to be
like
hearing more from him,
we
actually.
need to be hearing more from them. But
Hey,
you
what
have a
about
new
Bradley? What about that pass to
Samuel.
Curtis Samuel?
Curtis Samuel.
Woo!
And
Right
that was
in
it
them.
towards the end
That
of the
was a
game. Is that
dime.
the one you're talking about? That was,
No,
yeah.
that
I
was
thought
in the
that was
middle of the
early
game.
on. That was
Oh,
early
no.
on.
okay. I thought he hit him late in the game too.
Mm, he did hit him late, and he hit
Which-
another good one to Jahan too.
Yeah, which I was happy to see. I mean,
Yeah,
Sam
he never
Howell was
gave
still
up.
out there swinging, and
He was
like,
swinging. He didn't
you
lose
know,
confidence.
he,
I like
well,
that
yeah,
about him.
I do too. Keep him out there swinging. I'm not as upset about Sam Howell. Look, we asked the question at the beginning of the game, just how upset should we be by a 34 point ass kicking? I'm not all that upset because I kind of figured we might lose this game anyway. I didn't want to get our asses kicked that way. I'm not as upset about Sam Howell's 4 turnovers, and I'm repeating myself now, than I am about Antonio Gibson's 1 fumble. I'm so done with Antonio Gibson, but I in general
And
got
then
our asses kicked. It
and
stings, but I'm not that upset about it.
Donnie, let's go back to this fact. Antonio Gibson is a converted wide receiver. He didn't grow up playing running back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and
The
he's
same with Logan Thomas. Logan Thomas is really a
right. So
quarterback
he's a quarterback.
most of his life, and then it takes time to switch positions.
Well, hold on. Wide receivers got to hold on to the ball too. Antonio Gibson's really good catching the ball out of the backfield, which he did, as Bradley pointed out, was a screenplay when he fumbled
Right.
the ball.
Right.
After you catch it, you still got to hold on to the ball. Those two attributes need to happen for both a running back and a wide receiver.
You're right. I cannot deny. I cannot deny.
Well, why don't we
Yeah.
move on to our next section here. Dad,
Okay.
do you wanna
Next section being commanding attention. Is that what or are we dealing with some concern? Yeah, okay.
I mean, what's up? Yeah.
I mean, I felt like we talked about our
I think we talked
concerns and issues.
Yeah.
We've recapped the game.
We recapped the game.
So we that's why I say it's almost a parallel between us and Colorado. Dion told us, he told the reporters today, he said, listen, we should be able to win or lose and you not be able to tell from our demeanor what happened.
Mm-hmm.
He says, we're not going on this
that.
yo-yo. We're not going to be like
that.
this all season. We're going to be like this, steady. And I felt that from Sam Howell. This is the first season where I don't feel like, oh, here we go again. I don't feel like that. I just emotionally, I don't feel like that. They got their ass kicked. They got their asses kicked, and so did Colorado. But
so Colorado
this is where so did Russell Wilson. What is Russell Wilson? Losing is it's a hell of a thing, man. It's a hell of a thing. The good teams got to get back on the train. They got to get back on the wagon immediately. Yeah. You look at your mistakes, you clean up some things in practice, you go over some things that you practiced last week that didn't work, but now you're perfecting it more.
Yeah.
Because you can't just give up everything that didn't work. You got to say, look, we're going to make this play work. We're going to practice it until we get it down, because let's face it, new head coach, new OC, new plays, new quarterback.
Yeah, it's going to take some time.
Curtis Samuel hasn't played that much for this team. He's been hurt on and off. Logan Thomas been hurt. You got new tight ends in there. You got a front line that's relatively young, a new center. So, Brian Robinson's still basically a rookie. He missed a lot of last year with the whole gunshot wound fiasco.
Yeah.
Now Antonio's being asked to come off the bench instead of his first couple of years where he was the main guy. So there's a lot of newness there, but talented players.
Yeah.
And fortunately and unfortunately, the whole league is full of talented players.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
If we had gotten shut out like that week 17, I'd feel a lot different than week 3, especially with the 2-0 start. But Eddie, I want to hear, because we've been talking a lot about Dallas. I want to hear what you thought about that game.
Well, again, I was still traveling, so I didn't get to see too much of the game. And then I got back and it was just I was watching a lot of recaps of it. I think Dallas is beatable. We always tend to rise up one game or sometimes. I mean, I don't think we've beaten them twice for many years. So I think
2020,
we
but
split.
they didn't have Dak.
We pretty much split. And you know what? I think I don't think Dak is as big a threat as everybody. Let's face it, he's a great quarterback. He's much more polished than Sam. Sam's going to take some time. I think the thing that I notice is that there's like a desperation a little bit that I see out of Sam when he's back there, because I feel like maybe the offensive line needs to protect him a little bit more. And then when I see them going up against a defense like a blitzing Eagle feeding frenzy, we're going to have to get rid of the ball faster, and we're going to have to protect the quarterback. And you know what? Why not protect the guy with a little extra cushion when he's green? How many broken quarterbacks does Washington need? We've killed almost all of them. And what is it usually? They're not protecting the quarterback. Look at all the damaged goods that we have in quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So rather than sit here and say whether or not Sam Howell is going to be good enough, he's not going to be good enough if he's off the field. I want him healthy. I think he's super smart, and I think his demeanor about, you guys probably heard his speech after the game.
Yeah.
He never really once tried to apologize just for himself, and he never really blamed anyone else.
Never.
I thought it was really great. And he just said, look, we're going to move on. This is one loss. I'm learning. So I like that. I think his progression is a little too slow, like everybody else is going to say. And I think he's very anxious to have that big play moment. I think that's because he's 23. Think about it. You guys talked about it. What was the thing we talked about last week? We're talking about the guys who showboat or celebrate after they do something. Nothing's more exciting than connecting to some great receiver like McLaurin and knowing that you program that thing and you hit the guy on the stripes and he runs into the end zone in stride. That's what everybody's looking for when you're a quarterback and you're a receiver. That's what you want. So I think we have to be patient. Sam needs to be patient. He needs to start thinking with the creative ideas of the enemy and say, look, they're killing me out there. Can you have me not pass every single fucking down?
Yeah.
I'm getting killed back there. Let's play chess.
And Eddie, we did clear that up. They actually had a pretty balanced attack.
They did, but I'm saying
13 rushes, 19 passes. They just didn't have the ball that much.
All right, but let's say
and they played from behind almost from the beginning.
I guess my point is that they had to play catch up. Okay, but if you think about the games in past years where we have won from coming from behind, even last week when we came from behind, we did it methodically. We made some chess moves.
And we ran the ball.
And we played some defense.
Okay, but the question was, what did you think of the Dallas game? So I don't know how we got back onto the recap.
It always comes
probably back because I always
comes back to Washington.
Well, why do we want to know about the Dallas game? We know that they lost.
I'm going to tell you. Then I'm going to give my 2 cents on the Dallas game. Here was my thoughts, and I didn't see all of it, but
I can't talk about them
from the highlights. The Cardinals aren't as crappy as we all thought they were, and we said that after our first game. They almost beat us. They almost beat the Giants. I mean, they should have had the Giants.
They should have had the Giants.
I said it that weekend. I think we all did.
They are improving each week too. I think they learned from their mistakes, and they got good enough to beat Dallas. And kudos to the Cardinals.
I think that everybody.
Dallas. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think that everybody was killing the Arizona head coach in the offseason because he's kind of a goofball. He's kind of corny. But that was the Philadelphia defensive coordinator.
Right.
And Philadelphia had a great defense. So it's crazy to think that Arizona would have a bad defense when that is their head coach.
Yeah.
And I think coming out of last year and going into this year, there is still a lot of parity in this league. Anybody can look. Who would think that the Rams and the Bengals would have a 1-2 start. They're just 2 years removed from the Super Bowl, both
Right.
of them against each other.
And the Colts would lose to or beat the Ravens with Gardner Minshew. You know, like who knows?
Yeah.
The Ravens just
Who knows?
fumbled their time away in the overtime and the last minutes before the game, regulation ended. Lamar looks good though. Lamar looks good. I think the Ravens are going to be fine. They're 2-1.
Yeah, they're
Colts
fine.
are 2-1. Texans and Jaguars.
Yeah, but to your point, Tico, is who knows what's going to happen on Sunday?
That's right.
Who knows what's going to happen?
We
on
could have
Sunday.
beat the Bills. I mean, it was 16-14, it was 16-0 with
16-0.
14 minutes left and we had the ball. You know,
Exactly.
we could have drove down the field, scored, got
If you get a touchdown at that point, we're right back in the game.
We're right in the game.
And then
We're
that
right in the
was
game.
after throwing 3 picks. So again, Tico, I think that point is so important that there's so much parity in this league, especially, at this time of season the season.
Yeah,
when it's
week 3,
everybody,
what do you know?
yeah, everybody has a new team. Everybody's massaging out the kinks. No offense to Deshaun Watson, and and he had a great game, by the way. But you never know. Again, any team can be any team on Sundays.
Any given Sunday.
On every given Sunday, whatever.
When you think, I'm gonna go down the list of some teams,
Okay.
and just kind of blurt it out.
Okay.
So wait. Say it again.
So I'm going to go down the list of these teams. Just blurt it out whether you think they're going to be a good team or not a good team.
Okay.
Okay. Are we recording?
Yep.
Yeah.
We're on.
Okay. So New York Giants, what did you think coming into the season?
Coming into the season, I thought they were going to be decent.
I thought they were going to be good. Yeah.
Okay. 49ers.
Great.
Super Bowl contender.
Okay. Even with Brock Purdy, y'all like Brock Purdy, huh?
That team is too good to fail.
He looking purdy.
Doesn't matter
Looking
who's at
pretty.
quarterback.
Not just the guy, there's a lot of teams.
He's
team
got a
over there.
purdy mouth.
It's a big team.
Okay.
over there.
Here's a team that's been in the playoffs a bit. The Titans.
Thought they were going to have a rough year.
Yeah, middle of the road.
I was going to say middle of the road.
They're always going to
Under
stay in
less.
games, but I
Okay, they're 1-2. Browns.
I thought they were going to be good.
I thought they were going to be good as well.
Okay, they're 2-1, just like us. Falcons.
I thought they're going
I
to
thought
be.
they were going to be bad.
I did too. Thought they would be bad.
Wait, what did you say, Eddie?
I said I think they're going to. I thought they were going to be good this year.
Okay.
2-1, just like us. They got a new quarterback.
Yep.
Lions.
I thought they were going to be
thought they
middle,
had
and they're
potential.
doing really good.
I thought they had potential. I thought because they ended last season really strong.
I
Yeah,
thought they had a lot of hype, and I thought that some of it was deserved, and I thought they were getting overhyped.
Okay,
Look
they're
at
2-1, just like us.
Yep.
The
They're better
Saints,
than us.
the Saints, who've been going on this since Drew Brees left.
Yeah.
They've been on a quarterback carousel.
Yeah, that's why I didn't think they were going to be strong.
Yeah, I think they were going to be bad.
Eddie.
I didn't think they were going to be that strong.
Okay, they're 2-1, just like us.
I know.
Packers lost Aaron Rodgers. Jordan Love comes in.
Middle of the road.
I thought they were going to be middle of the road. Yeah.
I thought they were going to be good. I just like I like Jordan Love. I just thought
There
can't hate that name.
Well, they're 2-1 like us.
gotta love it.
Broncos.
Thought they were going to be better this year.
I thought they were still going to be bad.
Yeah, I thought they were going to be average.
They're 0-3. Dolphins.
I didn't think they were going to be this go.
This good.
I thought they were going to be good. I thought they were going to be a playoff team. I didn't think they were going to be Super Bowl contenders, and I definitely think they are going to be super. Yeah, they can be. They're going to go far in the playoffs this year.
3-0. Chargers. Chargers
Wait,
had a lot of hype.
what did Eddie,
I
what did
didn't
you
really
think
have
about
a feeling on them at all. I figured they were going to be positive team, maybe 70%, 60% wins, something like that.
Oh, they got 70 points.
them?
Yeah, but that's kind of like that team gave up. They're laid down. Come on.
They have 6 of the fastest players in the league.
Like this, think about it. The defense is out there the whole game, just getting annihilated. The coach is like, why don't we put the scrubs out? You guys take a seat. Just let them score. We're going to learn some shit.
I mean, they scored 14, 21 second quarter, 14 third quarter, 21. It's like 14, 21, 14, 21.
I can't imagine anybody not being surprised at how good they've been the first 3 games.
And Tua, I mean,
Yeah.
did you really think Tua was going to be? He didn't look like he could throw, and I'm prejudiced against left-handers sometimes
Mm,
because
Yeah.
it just looks
I was
different the way
awkward.
I
left-handers
was worried
throw.
about his head.
I don't
I
like
was glad that
left-handed
this was a-
golfers either. I don't like watching left-handed golfers. It throws me off.
But he gets that ball right there,
yeah, he does.
you know.
Good
Okay,
play.
Chargers.
Thought they were gonna be really good.
I thought they were going to be
I
great.
always think they're going to be good. They always lose.
I like that
They
quarterback.
lose
I
so
did not
many
like that kid.
one-score games. It's
Their
unbelievable.
defense is so
I like
bad.
Herbert too.
Well, they
yeah.
just got off the schneid. They're 1 and
Uh,
2.
Yeah.
The Vikings, Kirk Cousin, our boy.
I figured they'd be good. They had a strong season last
Can
year.
I want to tell you a fun stat about the Vikings. They won 11. They were 11-1 in 1-score games last year.
Wow.
Wow.
Now
Well, they're 0-3
0-3
right
in
now.
So you're
1-score
saying
games.
next time we play them, we better get a big lead, right?
They're 0-3 right now. What'd you think
And-
about the Vikings, Eddie?
I thought the Vikings were going to be a 70-60% team, like always. They just almost get to the playoffs. They get to the playoffs and they fail. Like kind of like
Yeah,
Dallas.
Okay.
That's
Patriots. What were your thoughts on the Patriots this year?
Me?
Stinky.
Anybody?
I thought
Just shout it out.
I thought they'd at least be middle of the road because I think I figured they would improve on last year because that's what Belichick does. He gets better,
Yeah, I don't know how
Yeah.
Belichick could ever. I would never bet against him being
Yeah.
under 500 ever. Just no matter who he's playing with. But I don't think he's there yet. So I don't.
Yeah.
They're like a 50-60% team.
They're still a work in progress too. But
Bradley.
Stinky. I
Yeah, he
think
said
Mac Jones
stinky,
sucks.
yeah.
Okay, now this is getting to that Brady versus Belichick conversation. I like to say Belichick because it's spelled chick. Everybody says check, but I like to say chick. Anyway, they're 1 and 2, man. We're doing better than they are at this point.
Yeah.
So
3 games,
We
nothing.
have a better
keep your head
quarterback.
up. The Jets. We thought the Jets might be trying to
The
do
Jets,
something.
the Jets. I don't think we should talk about the Jets because it's different. It's like a couple.
The whole
At the
season
beginning of
changed.
the season, yeah, it completely changed.
The Jets are a good team, and I think they're probably going to be better than people give them credit for, even without Aaron.
Okay. Well, they're 1 and 2.
I felt like they were overhyped with Aaron, to be honest with you.
Me too.
But,
But their
here's
defense is better than I thought they were going to be.
Yeah.
We have to play.
oh, their
them.
defense has been rolling for a minute.
Good, so good. Yeah.
What about the Bills? What'd you think about? Well, we all knew the Bills were going to be
Figured they'd
something.
be strong. Yeah.
I thought they were going to be Super Bowl contenders, as
yeah,
they
yeah,
are.
absolutely.
As they
And
are.
They still think that. Yeah.
Yep.
And I think Miami beat them, right?
Who-
No, the
They
Jets
lost
beat
their
them.
first
The
game. It was the
Jets.
Jets. Yeah, and over.
The
Oh.
lowly Jets that you felt
That's
couldn't
right,
do
that's
anything.
right. So that's why I thought we had a chance against them.
Yeah, me too.
But
Yeah.
they
Well,
got rolling.
because
man. They
Josh
got
Allen
rolling.
threw 4 picks in that
That's
first game.
right. That's
But we
right.
turned around and threw 4 picks against the
Which
Jets.
comes back to our
Everybody has an
blazing
off game.
secondary that tends to fall apart.
But
games in a
it's
row.
parity. It's parity. Like we could,
Yeah.
you know,
Well,
the Texans scored 37 points on Sunday,
Yeah.
Wow.
and they're
I
only
thought they were
1
going
and
to be
2.
really, really
Wow.
bad.
I didn't think anything of the Texans or Jaguars. Both of them are
Yeah.
1
Yeah.
and 2.
Well,
Yeah.
the Jags won a playoff game last year. So I
Yeah,
thought
but
they
they
were
don't
gonna
look.
be
They
good.
don't seem like the same team. Back to Tico's point about everyone judges the team based on last year, and to me, the Jags don't look like the same team they were last year.
No.
They look like they were
Well,
they were
Saquon is
contenders
gone,
last
so
year, and I'm
that's a
not
big
seeing that
deal.
so far this year.
Saquon's out, so that makes a big difference too. So
Right.
he's coming into it again. How horrific is that? I really feel for the guy. I mean, fuck.
Hey,
Those-
good. Hope he gets better. Good for us, but
Trayvon
I know,
Diggs. Trayvon
So-
Diggs tore his
he's out
ACL
for the
this week.
season. He's
Oh,
out for the.
geez.
That's
That's
some noteworthy, commanding attention.
That is
news.
that is noteworthy.
So
Mhm.
Colts, what'd you think of the Colts?
I thought they were going to be in a rebuild.
Yeah.
It all has to do with these rookie quarterbacks, though. Like Anthony Richardson. Like if the Anthony Richardson was good his rookie year, the Colts are a ready to win team. I mean, I think the Texans and the Panthers with rookie quarterbacks are more in a rebuild than the Colts were. But
And what happened to
CJ
Richardson?
Stroud-
What happened to Richardson? Did he get
Concussion.
hurt? Concussion. okay.
But CJ
Yeah.
Stroud looks really good on the Texans and is balling and put up 35 points, So like,
Yeah.
But Tico, Do you have a couple more teams? Because I think we should talk about Philly.
Let's-
let's
start
just
looking
go through
forward here.
go
Okay.
through quickly. The
Okay.
Ravens.
I thought they were going to be good.
Always think
Yeah.
they're going to be
I always
contenders.
think
Yeah.
they're gonna be contenders.
Positive winners, yeah.
Panthers.
Rebuild.
Yeah. I
Rookie
didn't think,
Quarterback.
didn't look for much there. Yeah.
Bryce
500
Young
or
is small.
500
Seahawks.
team.
Seahawks.
500 team.
Seahawks, I thought would struggle.
I thought they were going to be decent. I
I think
the Seahawks and the Lions are the same team, in my opinion.
Yeah, and Gino and Jared Goff. I
Yeah.
thought Gino had a breakout season last year, and
Both of those guys could go off. So the
Yeah.
teams could falter or
Yep.
no, they've
They
got
both
their challenges.
They both
here's
have
the-
good,
here's the one
really
I
good
thought was
running
gonna be
games.
better.
They both
Yeah.
have decent defenses. They both have pretty good wide receivers.
I love that
Okay.
Kenneth Walker.
All right. Last one.
Bears and the Chiefs.
Okay. Last two.
Chiefs. is an easy one.
Super Bowl contender, Bears.
Bears.
I thought they
eh,
were going to be better than they are. I thought
Yeah.
they were going to be. If,
Yeah, I
if
thought Justin Fields was
took
going
that
to take the
step,
next step.
yeah, I thought he was too.
Well, you never know. They can turn
Never
it,
know.
but they
They
have the
could.
curse. They
They
have some
could,
kind
but-
of a Chicago curse. I don't know what it is, but something goes on.
We got ours lifted this year,
That's right.
but they still have theirs.
Baker, you know who's hanging in there is Baker Mayfield. People had written him off for dead, man.
He didn't write
And
back.
Even though they lost to the Eagles, he looks strong, man.
He does.
He looks really strong.
I thought
like
they were going to be really bad too. So I was wrong. But I thought the Rams were going to be bad because you didn't talk about that game. I
Right.
thought the Rams were going to be bad.
No, we
They're
talked
not
about the
looking as
Rams and the Bengals.
And the Bengals,
Both
I thought
being
they were
one-
going to be
one and two.
contenders. But I still think they're going to be contenders. I think they're going to figure it out.
They got off the snide.
I like the Bengals uniforms in white, man. Those are.
I
That
like
was
the white
interesting,
uniforms
the white
too. That's one of the.
helmet.
I
That's
wasn't
one of the,
thinking
my favorite
Bengal
uniforms.
tigers
That
though.
was
I was
interesting.
thinking albino Bengal tiger.
That was
Yeah.
albino
Yeah.
tiger.
Yeah.
albino
Zebra, the
Bengal,
zebra print.
albino Bengal, albino
What do y'all think about Jimmy Garoppolo? He's with the
He's
Raiders now.
handsome.
One
He's
good-looking dude.
hunky.
Good looking dude.
He's handsome.
I would want my daughter to marry him,
He looks like Clark Kent or something.
but
you
I'd
know.
want her to live up in San Francisco. I miss him in San Francisco. I think he was a better fit in San Francisco. I feel like he's not a Raider. He's too pretty to be a Raider.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, they kicked old boy. They kicked old boy out.
Again,
to the
another
Saints.
another very good quarterback with a good arm, good scrambling, just not getting protected.
Who?
Garoppolo.
Hello.
I don't think. I think he's a. Eh.
I hear
Average?
people say that. I feel he's above that. I think he's. I wouldn't call him elite, but I think he's a strong, solid quarterback.
He's
I
solid.
think
He's solid.
do you think he's better than our boy Sam?
I wouldn't take him over Sam right now, but because I'm looking at Sam's potential. What I believe in his potential, but
I'll buy that. I like that answer.
but when we were before we got Sam, when we were scrambling for Carson Wentz, I would have taken Garoppolo then.
It's a Band-Aid. It's not
We
a.
would've
It's not
taken
a
anyone,
Super
yeah.
Bowl guy. I mean, he got to a Super Bowl in San Francisco, but San Francisco is a different team. I mean, Brock Purdy, I don't think is better than a lot of the quarterbacks in the league, but looks really good because he's on a team that is so good for quarterbacks.
Mhm.
It's so.
Yeah,
I mean,
but he's got something.
no,
He's
but
got
Brock
that,
Purdy,
he's got
listen to
that
this,
je ne
Chico.
sais quoi, man. Brock
Listen.
Purdy, he came in. He's only got a few games under his belt too.
His pass
Got
per
more than-
attempt is under 3 yards. That means his dink and
Wow.
dunk. It's just
Yeah, that's
dunk,
what he's
dunk,
always
dunk.
doing,
It's
dink,
screens.
yeah.
He has Christian McCaffrey on his team. He has the best O line in the league. He has arguably the best defense in the league.
How many interceptions does he have?
Like 2.
Because he's throwing 2-yard passes, so yeah,
Maybe
those
Sam
don't get
should
intercepted.
take a look at that.
He doesn't have the O line or the running
Yeah.
back or the defense. Again, I think
Okay.
we should move on. But
Let's move on to Philly.
It's a different beast.
All right, Philly's a biggie. Philly looked good. Philly looked good Monday night, and it was the first time. It was the strongest I think they've looked all season in my mind. I thought, first couple of games are like, Philly's beatable, but then I'm like, now they're like pulling it together just in time for the Commanders, So, I don't know what the solution is,
AJ Brown was kind of killing it,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
let's face it, man. None of us really thought much of Jalen Hurts when he first came in. we thought he was going to be a bust, right? He didn't look like he could throw. He didn't
Uh-huh.
look like he knew what he was doing. They got rid of our boy from last year.
You know what I
What's
love
his
about
name? What's
Jalen?
the
but
quarterback's name in
Carson
Philly?
Wentz.
Carson Wentz.
Oh yeah.
And they haven't looked back, man. They knew
Yeah.
something. They knew
Yeah,
something we
they
didn't
clearly
know.
did.
What were you gonna say, Eddie?
I was going to say that Jalen, there's something about when he starts a play and starts moving outside and rolls that I cringe. I don't know why he looks so comfortable. He doesn't ever look afraid or like running for his life. He seems to know where to be, where open space is.
Yeah.
And that concerns me with
I
our
mean,
defense.
He's cool.
there's a little bit of he doesn't. I don't see Jalen scrambling as much to run, but there's a little bit of Josh Allen in him. He knows how to avoid the rush, and if we don't address all the problems we had and kind of what Bradley was talking about earlier, we've got 4 good rushers, but if he scoots away from them, there's going to be 20 yards in front of him unless we've got somebody, spying on him.
And the other thing is, this is a really well coached team.
Yeah,
this is a really well coached team, and there is some serious tape on the Commanders now, and some serious, hey, this is what's beating the Commanders right now.
Yeah,
and that scares me, because if we don't address these problems, like Dad, like you said earlier in the podcast, this is the game which, if we lose this game, I won't be that upset if we address some of the big problems.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
with
Like,
you.
if it's like a close game and it's like, damn, the Eagles are a Super Bowl contender, they're a really good team, maybe we'll get them back in our crib later this season.
Mhm.
But you know what? Sam got the ball out. He didn't get sacked as much. We ran the ball. We played the screens. We turned it over once and it was, a tip ball. Like, we didn't let Jalen scramble. Like, so be it. If we
I
address
agree
some
with
of
that.
these problems,
I would
you
be
work
good
for
with that.
game 2. You work for the second
you
Philly
work for game
You
2.
get ready for that.
Exactly. So, but it scares me, because if they exploit some of the problems that we've put on tape, they're going to beat us, and they're going to beat us worse than the Bills beat us. Because honestly, we faced a great defense in the Bills. This Eagles front 7. Ooh.
Yeah.
And their corners and safeties.
So if you don't get rid of the ball very quickly, then you better not be
They're
passing.
big boys.
Who learns better from our mistakes, us or our opponents?
Yeah.
Right? Because if we're making mistakes, we shouldn't still be making them. They shouldn't be seeing the same thing that they saw on tape.
Agreed.
Right? We should be addressing that.
Yep.
Well,
better not see
in
this
three
thing.
games, here's 2 stats I do not like.
Stat man.
19 sacks we've given up.
Oh,
The most in the
Jeez.
league. The most in the league.
oh.
5 interceptions. Jimmy
Yeah.
Garoppolo has 6, but we're giving up way too many. I mean, this is
Interesting.
only 3 games.
Oh, he's pretty.
It's only 3 games.
Well,
Yeah.
it's a sloppy offensive line, and it's a sloppy way of handling our offensive attack. I feel like the O-line is a work in progress. It's just going to take some time.
And here's the other thing. We've talked a lot about Eric Bieniemy, and I think the first couple of games we thought he called a pretty decent game. He definitely didn't this time. But there's more to offensive coordinator than just calling the plays. What's being done in between games, to address these issues? It's there's a lot of coaching to be done between games, and what you hear about Eric Bieniemy is he's kicking guys' ass, and he's getting results from it.
Yeah.
But let's see that in the game,
Yeah.
because I think there's a lot of cleaning up to be done other than just calling the right plays at the right time.
100%.
So should we get to our 4 commandments?
Yeah.
And get
Let's
out
do
of
it.
here?
Let's do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Who wants to start?
Go ahead. Go. You can kick us off, Bradley.
Okay. I was kind of taking my time. No, I have a couple. But I don't know which one's a cop out and which one's not. So I'm gonna go with this one. And it's ironically the exact same as last week's.
Okay.
But I want to preface this. Last year, and I know this is a new year, it's a new team, but I do want to go back to last year, because the first game we played, the Eagles destroyed us with chunk plays. They had, I think it was over six plays, 20 yards or more. That we can't let that happen. And that's when they beat us. And when we beat them, they had similar chunk plays, except that on one of those chunk plays, we punched the ball out and got a fumble. And on another one of the punch plays, we ripped the ball out of his hand, out of AJ Brown's hand, and picked him off. So two of the chunk plays that they would have had turned into turnovers. I don't want to say that's lucky, because I think it was a great play by our defense, but we may not have those opportunities this game. And if we let those chunk plays happen, we're going to lose this game. So, same one as last week. Thou shalt not give up chunk plays. That's my commandment. And I'll keep it to 1 today.
Well, I'll go. And maybe this is a cop out. I'd like to say, and maybe there's no such thing as mistake-free football, but we got to play pretty darn close to mistake-free football. I mean, just the stupid things of killing ourselves. We talked turnovers, sacks, penalties. We didn't do too bad in penalties actually in this last game, but those things that are drive killers,
dropping interceptions.
Dropping interceptions, yeah. But I'm talking when we're moving. I'm talking the offense. We're moving down the field. And we kill the drive with either a turnover or a big penalty or 2 sacks in a row. Those mistakes have to be cleaned up. I say thou shalt play mistake-free football. Thou must play mistake-free football. If you're gonna beat the Eagles, you got to play mistake-free football. You can't do what you did against the Bills, or you're gonna have the same turnout.
Very nice. I agree.
Eddie?
I got one. And it kind of comes back to the early thing about we need to thou shalt oh God. Thou shalt
hard to put in thou shalt.
I know.
Thou shalt play chess and not checkers.
I love it.
I think that's I'm basically saying we got to play smarter. I'm sorry, I don't think we've been playing very smart.
And just out of curiosity, are you talking coaches, players, or both?
I'm talking the entire team, and that consists of players and coaching.
Okay.
Right now, I just feel like somebody saw every move in advance because they picked us off at like random. It was just so easy for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not going to blame Sam completely at all.
No, I agree.
But so I would say, let's play chess.
I like it.
I command chess.
Okay.
Yeah. I love it.
We've got to Val shall get a wide receiver into the top 30 of receiving yards.
But we're not even in the top 30.
We're 55 and 56.
Really?
With all those passes.
We're spreading the ball around,
y'all think it was a lot of passes. It wasn't that many passes. We didn't have the ball that long.
Well, that's the thing. Time of possession. We need some time.
I mean, this is not cool. We know Terry's coming off some kind of foot injury, right? But Curtis Samuel has 127 yards and Terry McLaurin has 126.
Wow.
That's
your commandment is
what does Jahan have?
He's not even in there.
Yeah, and I think Jahan can be an elite receiver.
Oh yeah, all 3 of them can.
Yeah. We're not using our weapons. Okay, so what was it? Thou shalt have a receiver in the top 50?
Top 30. We're in the top 50.
We need to be in the top 15, man, with the receivers like we have.
You're right.
Patience.
Let's get at least in the top 30 this week.
I agree, Eddie.
All right. So is that everybody's 4 commandments? I have a question. What's your prediction of where we will be game 8 of the season?
Game 8. Well, I gotta look at that. I gotta look at the
schedule. Should we look at the ones that we?
Yeah, you'll see who we got. Like this is going to give us a 50%. This will give us like where we're at halfway through the season, which is kind of like pivotal because it seems like a lot of interesting games come up.
After game 8 is Philly. So Philly again. That's where.
Right. So
okay.
I say 5-3.
I'm gonna say 4-4.
Yeah.
That's after Philly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we play Philly, Bears, Falcons, Giants, Philly.
That's
Those are the
right.
next 5
Right.
games.
That's right.
I'm gonna go 4-4.
We only win
I'm gonna
2 of
feel
them.
I'm gonna feel optimistic, but with a 4-4. But that's not
I'm
very.
gonna take Tico's side. I think we beat the
5-3.
Giants, the Falcons, and the Bears, and we lose. Well,
I
no,
think-
I'm gonna say 5-3, and I think we beat the Eagles once, and then we lose to either the Falcons if Taylor Heineke plays, or the Giants, or maybe I think we beat the Bears. I think we could lose to the Falcons or the Giants, but we could beat both those things. You know what?
Okay.
Fuck it. You can't think that there's gonna be a change if you don't believe that there's change.
Right.
We're
Wait a minute. We're
6-2.
supposed to be fans,
We're
right?
gonna beat Philly once, and we're gonna beat all three of
All
those
three of-
trash ass teams.
All right. Eddie
I like it.
Eddie Pessimistelli is gonna have to start getting a little more positive.
All right.
Tico's face is he doesn't believe me.
No,
you gotta
I
put it-
like it. I like it. I punked out on the Eagles. I punked out.
You think we're gonna get swept? Can't get swept.
Of those 5 games, we're going to get 3 of those 5.
Okay.
It could be the Eagles
It
we
could-
beat, but one of those trash teams may
Yeah.
bite us in the butt.
We
Yeah.
better get. We
I
better
got
get
it.
3.
If
And
I
they're not
think-
really
if I-
good. They're really not trash. We
I know.
can't
Nobody's
call anybody
trash.
trash.
I know.
Yeah.
look,
Atlanta-
We don't
Look.
we don't have a leg to stand on to be calling anybody trash.
I've been preaching that this is a different team, but I can't back up my preaching if I don't believe it. So I'm throwing it out into the world. We're gonna be 6-2
I like it.
going into week 9. Thanks for tuning in to this week of Command West. We hope you had just as much fun listening as we did, bringing you the latest and greatest on the Burgundy and Gold. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like us, and tune in next week. Thanks so much.
Goodbye.
Guys,
Die birds die.
go ahead.